So a client reached out to me and requested that I recreate this beautiful sky blue bustier-corset dress for her. But this time with some alterations. She said she doesn't want skinheads on the sleeve and also at the yoke. She doesn't want the back's waistline too deep, and she also does not want the neckline shaping, that's the sweetheart neckline, so deep. She wants her bust covered. So these were all a little adjustments to the original design. So guys, welcome back again to my channel. If this is your first time here, you're welcome to Bimsy Styling YouTube channel. And if you're a returning subscriber or viewer, thank you for sticking to my channel. So in today's tutorial, it's actually the part 2, which is the sewing part of this bustier corset dress. If you are here to see the part 1, the pattern drafting, the link will be in the description box below. Do well to check it out. And also don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment. It is important you leave a comment. I would like to know whether the result is actually a hit or a miss. And guys, do not also forget to subscribe to my channel. Now let's get right into our sewing proper. So right here on the sewing machine, I have the center front and also the side front for this particular dress. And so I'll take out my pattern papers. So I'll be matching up these fabrics together, the center front and the side front. And then if you notice, you would observe that I have a notch at the underbust part. You can see that. So that I'll be able to match up these parts together. I don't have them shifting when I am sewing. So I also matched up the bust point. I also have a notch on the chest line part of this fabric. So I notched all the important points that we have on the pattern paper, and these were the first parts which I pinned together so that my lines can match up exactly the way it was on the pattern. I want it to match up also with the fabric. So this is important when you are sewing a bustier, so that you have a very good result. So after pinning down the center front and the side front together, so I'll proceed to sewing down these two parts of the fabric, that's the center front and the side front. I'll proceed to sewing the two parts together with the exact ½ inch I added when I was transferring the pattern to fabric. And once I'm done with this side, I'll also repeat the same thing on the other side. So this is what we have after joining the side front to the center front. You can see exactly what we have here, and this is what it looks like on the inside. So I'll repeat the same thing on the lining, and then I'll take it to the ironing table and give it a good press. So after I was done pressing, you can see the exact result that we have here. You can see the bustier standing already. So it is important that you iron whenever you have your bustier sewed together. And so here is the inside of the fabric. You can see I have opened up the seam while pressing. Now the next thing I'll be doing is the bust caging for this dress. And to start with, I will first place my boning. I'll place it on the bust point. So this is the first part I will place my boning. So, and for this particular bust caging, I actually made use of the wording which I attached to this lining. I made use of it as my guide. So all of the boning is going to start on the wording from one end to the other side of the lining. So I'm starting on this part of the wording, and I'm also going to end the boning on the other side of the boning of the wording rather. I hope you understand that. So this that I am sewing here is going to pass through the bust point first. So this is what I have after attaching the very first boning to the bust area. So the next one, I'll be placing it about 1 inch away from the first one. You can see that. So I'll place it like so, and then I will run my stitches on the boning. So I'll also start sewing from one part of the wording. That's the wording is going to be the guide, from one part to the other side, also stopping where exactly the wording ends on the other side. So this is exactly what I used as my guide for this bust caging. So this is what exactly the two boning I have attached to this bust area. This is what it looks like. So the next one I'll be attaching is also going to be 1 inch away from the one at the bust point. You can see where I placed that. So I'll be attaching it exactly like so, and I'll be doing that off camera. So this is what I have after attaching the three bonings, and as you can see, the bust area is actually taking shape already. So for this ones, I am kind of done. We still have one last one to attach, but then I'm kind of done with the straight lines. So the next one I'll be doing is the vertical lines. So I'll be placing it first on the exact same line that we have on this bustier. So I'll place it, so that's where I'll be starting from. I'll place it on the seam line that we have there. And once I'm done with this part, starting from about 1 inch below the neck part. So you need to come down about 1 inch from the neckline so that you don't have any issues when you are turning your lining and your fabric together. So I'll take this from about 1 inch from the neckline area, and then I will stop at the underbust part of it. You can see exactly where I'm cutting that boning. That is the underbust, and that is the point where I will stop the boning. So I'll repeat the same process on the other side. Once I'm done with this part, I'll repeat the same process on the other side, but I'll be doing this off camera as well. So here is exactly what we have after attaching the boning to the two sides. So the next part I'll be attaching this boning is the center of the lining. So I'll place it starting from 1 inch, like I said, starting from 1 inch from the neckline, and then I'll take it through to the underbust part. So this will be done off camera as well, so we don't have this video extremely long. So now we are done attaching this very boning at the center. So the next one I'll be attaching to this bustier is going to be in between this one we just attached at the center and the one on the seam line. So it's going to fall in between these two parts. So you can see exactly where I placed it there. So once I'm done with this side, I'll do the same thing on the other side, just in between the center front boning and the one on the seam line. I'll sew down my bonings to that part. Now I'm done sewing the boning that I talked about, the one that falls in between the center front and the seam line that we have on the bustier. So the next one I want to attach now is going to be by the other side of the seam line. So you can see where I placed that by the other side. So we already sewed down the bonings at the center. So this is going to fall on the side part. That's the side of this bustier. So I'm just going to place it right there, and then I'll run my stitch using the wording as my guide. Like I said, all through the process of this bust caging for the bustier, I use the wording attached to the lining as my guide. So you can see where I placed that, and so I'll run my stitches all through. I'll repeat the same thing on the other side. So this is what we have after attaching that part. So I'll repeat the same thing on the other side. And yes, I'm done with that. So finally, the last boning I'll be attaching, we cut across from one side through the underbust to the other side, so you can see how I place that. So I'll be using this boning to cover up the tip of the other bonings that we have horizontally, so you can see how I placed that. So I'll just sew this through from this end. So like I said, I'll be sewing through this boning from this side of the bustier. I'll sew it through, following through the underbust. You can see exactly how I am taking that boning, and I'm ensuring that this boning actually covers up the tip of the other bonings that I find along the way while I'm sewing. So I took it through the underbust and then to the other side of the bustier. So you can see exactly what I did here, and I'm going to stop at about 1 inch away from the neckline as well. So right here I am done with the bust caging, and you can see it's already sitting well. So the next thing is just for me to attach the other boning at the under bust part of the blouse. So you can see the first part I'm marking here is the center front. So sorry guys, don't mind my voice. I have a little cold, so it's affected my voice. So I'll be also be marking on the other side. You can see the points which I am marking here. So I'll also repeat the same thing on the other side. I'll draw my straight line like so, starting from where the boning at the bust caging ends, and these are all the channels I'll be placing my boning. Now the seam line that we have coming from the neckline. I'll also be attaching it. You can see it. You can see me placing my boning there. So after marking my lines, these are the bonings. I have attached them all on the lines that we marked and also on the same line like I said. So after bust caging, any form of bust caging, whether a cupped corset or a bustier, it is important that you flesh up the part which you cage. So this here is the fiber which I'll be using to flesh up this bust that we just cage. So I'll push in my bust area and then I'll take this to the ironing table. I'll be using my hemming gum. You can see me pushing it out. So this is what it looks like after pushing it out. So I'll place my hemming gum. I'll place my hemming gum in between the lining and the fiber which I am going to use. So this is the fiber. I have it in pieces. So that is why I'm making use of the hemming gum here. So if you don't have yours in pieces, you can actually sew the fiber and the hemming and the lining together rather. So I'll be attaching the fiber off camera. And the reason why I'm doing this is because right here on my channel, I have a tutorial where I showed how to do your bust caging and also flesh that part up. It's a detailed tutorial. It's an overbust corset tutorial where I showed every single step on how to flesh the bust area after caging it. So I'll drop the link in the description box. You can access that. I also have a tutorial where I showed how to cage your cup part of a cupped corset, a cupped bustier. I showed how you can cage the cup part of the cup bustier. So you can also use that tutorial. It is the same method I'll be using for this particular bustier corset blouse. So you can access any of the tutorials to see how I flesh up after bust caging. Any method is fine. You can attach with your hemming gum or you sew your fiber like I said. So guys, right here I have the back pattern, and as you can see, I have attached my boning to the back. So the very important part for this back is the center back. You need to attach your boning to the center back. Then you can also feel free to locate any points you want to attach your boning as well. But the center back is very important because this part will help us when we are lacing the corset. It's going to give that part more strength. So ensure that you always attach your boning to the center back. It is important. Then you can pick any other point apart from the center back to attach your boning. So guys, right here I have the main fabric, and this is for the back and also for the front. Like you know, we just worked on the lining of this dress and we already attached our boning to both the back and the front. So here I am matching up the sides together. That is the main fabric. I am matching them up at the side, and then I'll go ahead to pin it down at the waist so I don't have any issues when I'm joining the fabrics together. The waistline must align, so I pin down the waist, and what I'll be doing is to join these two parts together, the front and the back, with half an inch seam allowance which I added at the point when we're transferring our pattern to fabric. So after joining the sides to the front, this is what we have. You can see that I already joined the other side as well. You can see what we have for the main fabric. So this is what the other side also looks like. And then this is what it looks like on the inside. I am yet to press the sides which we just joined. So I already gave it a very good notch along the waistline, so I have that part relaxed. So I'll take it to the ironing table and then give it a good press. So this is the part that we caged. You can see it sitting well already, and this is exactly what we have here. So I already fleshed it up with my fiber and then the stay. Like I said, you can see what it looks like on the inside. So the next thing I'll be doing is to attach the sides. That's the lining part that we have the boning. So I'll be attaching also the sides together the same way we did for the main fabric. I'll repeat the same thing for the lining. So right now I am almost done, and then this is the main fabric. I already pressed the seam line, that's the side seam like I said. And so now we proceed to turning the lining and the main fabric together. Now to do this, I'll be placing my yoke in between the lining and the main fabric, and here with me I have the back yoke. You can see what we have there. I have the back yoke. So I've gone ahead to pin down the back yoke, and then I would also do the same thing for the front yoke. So this is me trying to match up the front yoke rather to the exact point where it should be. So after attaching the yoke to the main fabric, this is the lining, and so the next thing I will be doing is to um the next thing I'll be doing is to match up the lining and the main fabric. So here is me placing the main fabric on the lining. So I started with the center front. So I'll go ahead and pin down the center front part first. Then I'll proceed to the other part. That's the next part is the same line that we have there. The same line on the main fabric and the same line on the lining should align. So I'll pin that part as well. Then I'll proceed to the other part and then pin it down carefully along the neckline. Also at the center back, I'll pin it down. So by this, the yoke and the main fabric are attached together with the lining. So the yoke is already in between the lining and the main fabric. Remember that we attached the yoke to the main fabric. So I'm just removing that pin that we used to attach the yoke, and then I'm using it to pin down the three fabrics together. So this is exactly what I'll be doing on both sides of this bustier blouse. So I'll pin all down carefully. After pinning down, so I went ahead to join the back parts first. So I started from the armhole area. So I'll be sewing on 1/2 inch starting from the armhole and then taking it into the center back. Now I'll be closing up the center back as well with 1/2 inch, which was also added to that part. So I'll sew through from the point where I stopped at the top, and then I'll take it down to the hem of the blouse. So I'm sewing on 1/2 inch on the center back as well. I'll repeat the same thing on the other side of this blouse. I'll repeat the same process starting from the armhole to the center back and then taking it from the center back to the hemline. You can see the exact process which I used on this side. So guys, if you have watched today's tutorial to this very point and you are yet to subscribe to my channel, what are you waiting for? Show some love and support, subscribe to this channel, give this video a massive thumbs up, like this video so that YouTube can continue to push out this content to those who might need it. Also share with your friends, turn on your notifications so that whenever I come up with another exciting tutorial, you'll be notified. So at this point, I am just stitching down the neck part, and this is exactly what I am doing using 1/2 inch seam allowance which we added to this particular fabric. So right now I'm done sewing down the upper part of this blouse, and the next thing I'll do is to flip it over to the right side and I'll take it to the ironing table, give it a very good press. I will join the shoulders together, that's the back and the front shoulder together, and then I will attach my sleeve to it. After doing that, I will also get a strip, and then I would pipe the hemline of this blouse. So you can see I have given it a very good press, and you can see the results. You can see it laying very well. So ironing is an important process when you are sewing to achieve a very good result. So like I said, I'll be joining the shoulders together, attaching my sleeve, and then I will get a strip of about 2 inches to pipe the hem of this blouse. After doing that, I'll fix my eyelet, and voila, our blouse is ready. So guys, thank you all for watching today's tutorial. I will see you all in my next tutorial. Bye.